Hey, how's it going, comic book fans? This is Mr. Q, bringing you my first comic book video here on YouTube. I've been back in the hobby since about 2015. I collected in the 80s and 90s as a kid, mostly Marvel stuff. That was my main interest. Amazing Spider-Man, Wolverine, Uncanny X-Men. Never really got much into the DC books at all. But like I said, got back in the comics about 2015 for a multitude of reasons. So I've really expanded my collection in the past few years and been watching a lot of the content here on YouTube. You guys got some great stuff. There's some awesome haul videos, just some really great comic book content. So I've been excited to kind of jump in and show off the books I've been picking up. So yeah, let's just dive right in. I've got a few hauls left over from 2018 that I kind of been stashing away, getting ready to do some videos here. So I'm kind of going to do a few short ones and break down some of the small hauls I picked up. So I'm going to start with a couple shops I hit on a couple different days right before the holidays. I think this was right after Thanksgiving. So two local shops I go to on a pretty much weekly basis, so I always seem to find some good back issues there as well. So this is from the first shop. This is a cool little shop. They give you 20% off everything in the store, which is great. So if you sub for books there, anything they carry, I mean, they even sell like skateboards and they have pinball machines, so it's a neat shop. So I picked up Man-Thing #1. This is volume 2, I believe. It's not the first series, but yeah, it's a #1 Bronze Age, so always cool to pick up. I love the artwork in these Bronze Age books. Anything from the 70s here is fantastic, and I think it was like $5, so I saw it there. It's probably, it's mid-grade. It's not high grade at all, but pretty cool. Next, I grabbed this. I don't think I actually grabbed this from that shop. I think it was an antique store somewhere around that time. But I've gotten a lot more into horror books as I've gotten back into collecting. Never really read any of the horror genre growing up at all, but I've gotten into a lot of more modern horror titles that are out from Image, so it's kind of made me interested in a lot of this older stuff, Tomb of Dracula, stuff like that. And I think this is the first appearance of Lilith, so this is Giant Size Chillers #1. Again, great 70s cover here. These giant size books are great, and they always seem to be relatively inexpensive, with the exception, of course, of Giant Size X-Men. But I don't even remember what I paid for this. Probably $7 or $8, something like that. And it's probably mid-grade as well. It's got a little tear up here, some color breaks, but all in all, pretty happy with the condition for less than $10. So yeah. All right, this was from the local shop. This is a modern book. This is Batman White Knight #3. This is the B cover. It's actually signed by Sean Murphy here. This was a great series. I did actually read this. If you guys haven't checked it out, I would highly recommend reading it. It's a fantastic book. Sean does the art and the writing, unique art style. His writing I thought was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. If you're not, a DC fan, it's still a great book to pick up because it's not part of the normal continuity, at least as I understand it. I think they kind of dub it the Murphy-verse, and I think it's the first appearance of the Neo Joker. And like I said, it's signed, it's in great shape, and I think I paid like, what did I pay? Like $12 for it. So definitely happy to have that. I have quite a few books signed by Sean Murphy. This shop seems to get their hands on quite a few of them, and pretty much the whole run. I think I have multiple copies. The variants and cover A signed as well, but this one in particular is really, really nice. I only had the third print of this, or second print of this, which I think is a red cover. So yeah, again, $12. I was psyched about that pickup. And the last book from this shop, and this I absolutely love. This had probably been sitting there for a while. I don't know how I never saw it before, but Space Ghost #1. This is a gold key, Silver Age, 1966. Pretty sure it's the only issue. This is a Hanna-Barbera adaptation from the 1966 cartoon. And I loved this cartoon as a kid. They did it in syndication, along with a ton of other Hanna-Barbera 60s cartoons like Samson and Goliath, Birdman, what was the other? The Herculoids, if you guys remember any of those. Like I said, I didn't see them in the 60s, but they played them. I think there was like a nightly show that they did all these Hanna-Barbera reruns, and I just always loved Space Ghost. And this one's fairly beat up, you know, it's probably very good. It's got a lot of creases. Yeah, I think you can see it there. But still, this one was relatively inexpensive, 16 bucks. It was marked at 20, but like I said, everything in the store is always 20% off, assuming I'm not negotiating better prices. So, super psyched to have that. I love that book. All right, on to the next shop. This shop has an annual Black Friday sale, and they do sales once or twice a year. Everything that's $5, marked $5 and less, they sell for $1. Everything marked $9, it's $9 or $10 depending on the sale. Anything $9 or $10 is $3, and anything else is 30% off. Sometimes that includes wall books, sometimes not. So I always try and get a whole bunch of books for $1. Mostly stuff I'm filling in runs. You know, so I'll just kind of go through the dollar books I picked up. Avengers 192, 193, and 201. And like I said, just kind of filling in some of the Avengers run. There's a few series I try and put together runs of Avengers. If I can find them for $1, I'll grab them. But nothing special about these issues. Probably very fine range. And I have been picking up some Batman older stuff as I can. Like I said, I didn't read a lot of DC growing up, but I am interested in Batman. I'll probably read some of these as I can put together some runs. Batman 271, Batman 371, 372, 373. I love that Scarecrow cover. And 376, and like I said, just all dollar books. So, and let's see, I grabbed some detective as well. 501, 502, and 541. And this store always has a ton of Batman stuff, and they are constantly restocking. That's what I love about the second store. They don't do the 20% discount, but they do a credit program. Not when they're doing sales, but basically anything you buy there, any back issues, every 10 issues, they average out what you spent on those 10, and that goes into like a, you know, little credit. So I'll let it ride and build up a significant credit and put it towards a big book. So, and they just always have new back issues. Picked up Ghost Rider 27 just because it's a Jim Lee cover. I love the 80s stuff, Jim Lee and McFarlane, and I thought this was a great cover, which I didn't have. So, and I found a couple of these. ASM 265. This is the first appearance of Silver Sable. It is the second print. They're both in great shape. There's a little bit of waviness at the top, which I don't think you're gonna be able to see in the camera at all. Maybe you can pick it up there. And I don't know, they're not stained or anything, but occasionally I find these books where they just kind of get that ripple effect, which I'm sure can be pressed out. And yeah, other than that, they're in great shape. So for $1, yeah, I grabbed them. I think they make ASM 101 First Morbius, you know, that same kind of silver second print as well. Now, I picked these up too, and maybe you guys in the comments, if you know anything about it, I seen one of my other shops has it on their wall for like 20 bucks. I think it's the first appearance of the daughter of Wolverine, which I don't think has anything to do with Laura Kinney, but I kind of stopped reading books in around 92. I think this came out in, what, 96? Is it 96? 99? Something like that. But these were $1. Wild Thing, #1, so I grabbed 2 of them. Yeah. And last for the dollar books, I got a couple of X-Force, #2, second appearance of Deadpool. Actually did get 3 of them, but I already flipped one. It had a little white spot on it. These are both really, really crisp. If I can find these for $1, I grab them every time. Not a mega key, but I love picking up second appearances. It's actually a pretty good Liefeld cover, which most of them I don't particularly like, but this one's actually not too bad. You still got some pouches down here, quite a few, but in only 1 foot. Managed to hide, I forget this guy's name, but managed to hide his feet pretty good. So, classic Liefeld 90s stuff. So, alright, on to some of the better books. This was just a $3 book. Like I said, I always kind of dig up the cheaper stuff. So it was probably marked at $9, but because of the sale, it was like $3. So Avengers Annual, number 4, probably in VG shape. Nothing great. You never find in high grade there for $3, but still pretty cool stuff. I think that's early Bronze Age. So, all right, and like I said, I have been picking up some Batman stuff. Really like the Year One story by Frank Miller, so I have the trade, and I've been trying to piece together all of the floppies, and I just didn't have part 1. So this is Batman 404, which is part 1. I love the covers here. I love the art in this series. I'm totally gonna butcher the guy's name, Mazzucchelli. I think that's right. So I think this was, what did I pay for this? $11, which, yeah. You know, I try not to pay that much for modern books. I really have a hard time doing it, you know, copper or modern. This book is normally like $20-25 when it's in really good shape, at least at my shops, but I've been wanting to get it. So, yeah, it was on sale, like I said, so I picked it up. Now, the next Batman books I am definitely really psyched about. Like I said, a huge McFarlane fan. That was, you know, McFarlane's really what got my interest in the comics when SpiderMan 298, 99, and 300 came out. It was just amazing at the time. There was nothing like it. So, you know, and these covers are just amazing to me. Now, I know this one's not McFarlane, but Detective 575, 576, 577, and 578. So it's the complete run of Year 2. Sorry about the glare here from my lights. And I had this run already, but, you know, they were probably in the VF range. A lot of them were scuffed up, and these were just in absolutely pristine condition, really high grade. He had them at 20, like I said, 20 each. And with the sale, so $15 a pop, which again, more than I normally want to pay for these books, but they're in such beautiful condition that, and knowing I was going to be able to flip my other ones, I couldn't pass it up. I just love McFarlane. So any McFarlane stuff, Spider-Man stuff, if I'm going to overpay for books, and I don't really think $15 each is overpaying for these, but if I'm going to spend, you know, more than I want to on a book, it's going to be on McFarlane stuff and Spider-Man stuff, and I just absolutely love this. Love this set. So this was, yeah, fantastic. Psyched about that. You know, probably one day when I start grading books, maybe I'll get those slapped. So, all right, down the last few here. This is Conan number 23, first cameo of Red Sonja. This is probably in VG shape. I've been looking for this for a while. Love anything kind of, you know, swordplay, knights in shining armor. Always love that kind of fantasy world stuff. As a kid growing up, loved the Conan Schwarzenegger movies. Those are fantastic. Just great 80s kind of cheesy special effects. James Earl Jones and stuff. Yeah, really good stuff. So, you know, it's not in the best of shape, but what was it? I think it was $12 with the sale. So, not bad. Put it in the collection for now. One day I'll find a higher grade and unload the lower grade copy. But I also picked up 24, which is the first full appearance, and this is in much better shape. And I far prefer this cover, Barry Windsor Smith. I think this cover is awesome. I love the kind of tan background. All the guys are fighting in the yellow, and Conan and Red Sonja just kind of popping out there. Yeah, psyched to find this. I think it was like $30, something like that. So I was fine paying that in this shape. Yeah, really psyched to get that as well. All right, down to the last couple, and these are definitely the best books I picked up there, the best steals anyways. Swamp Thing 49, I think, is the first cameo appearance of Justice League Dark. Fantastic cover. I never read Swamp Thing, but I've been piecing together the Alan Moore run steadily. I just hear it's fantastic, so I will likely read it. I probably won't read the floppies. We'll probably pick up the trades, but I have been hunting down the floppies. I've been able to pick most of them up, all the keys really cheap, and this was a score. I got this for $1, simply because someone in the store had marked this at $5, and when I got to the counter, the owner realized something was up with it, and someone had mistakenly put them out, but he honored it. So with the sale, it was $1, and this is beautiful condition. It's an awesome cover. Love I mean, just that cover's fantastic. There's hardly any defects. You know, I would say VF near mint. I don't know if I can focus it all here. Yeah, really nice. Anyways, but even better, he also had 50 for the same thing, marked at $5. So I got that for $1, and this is really pristine. I don't see any defects at all. I think this is an easy 9.6, possibly 9.8. I don't like this cover nearly as much, but I think this is the kind of big money book in terms of the Justice League Dark. You know, you guys feel free to correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. Any of you guys who know DC a little bit better, but still for $1, I had been looking for this for a few months. And hadn't found it, definitely not for $1. So I could tell he was ticked, but he's like, no, don't feel bad. We screwed up. Our loss is your gain. So good stuff. I mean, that's the stuff that happens when you give your business guys to the same kind of local places repeatedly. That's kind of my aim. I always shop with the same guys, do a lot of business with the same people, and over time, you know, it sounds cliche, but you build relationships with these people, you're going to get a lot better deals, and these guys always take care of me. So pretty psyched to get that for $1. So, well, that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you know, please like and subscribe. I'm going to be trying to come out with more and more of these. I got quite a few stacks to go through. I'm going to try and keep the videos short, hopefully 10 to 15 minutes. You know, I'm not an expert in a lot of this stuff, but so feel free to chime in any comments below. So yeah, we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.